If you're looking for a new Android phone in 2023, you might want to stay away from these options. They have slow processors, poor battery life, privacy issues, and terrible cameras. Without further ado, let's jump in. TCL 30V 5G. This phone up for grabs at just $299 raises a lot of concerns. This big, beautiful 6.67-inch display with sharp 1080p resolution, not bad for a budget device, comes with 128GB of storage. But it suffers from a not-so-great Snapdragon 480 5G processor, only 4GB of RAM, and it's running Android 11 out of the box, which means it's not the fastest and most up-to-date phone out there. Now, complaints range from freezing and stalling to straight-up functionality breakdowns. It's got a 4500 mAh capacity, but it doesn't seem to have the best optimization, resulting in a disappointingly short battery life. Sure, it's a budget-friendly option for 5G, but if you're willing to spend a little more, you might just find yourself a better smartphone. Nokia C10. This budget-friendly phone that won't break the bank is priced at just $40. But it might not have all the bells and whistles you're hoping for. Released in June 2023, this phone comes with a MediaTek MT6762 chipset from 2018. Yeah, it's not the newest one, and it only has 32GB of storage and a measly 3GB of RAM. So don't expect it to handle heavy-duty tasks like a champ. The display resolution is 720 by 1560 HD+, which is decent but not mind-blowing. And charging? Well, it supports 5-watt charging, which is not the fastest out there. While it's affordable, there's not much else that sets this phone apart. Its connectivity is limited to 4G, and the 3000 mAh battery might not last you all day. Plus the 13-megapixel rear camera, let's just say it's nothing to write home about. Blue Bold N3. This $299.99 phone boasts a 6.78-inch screen and a super smooth 120Hz refresh rate for a buttery smooth experience. Plus, with a spacious 256GB of storage, you won't be running out of space anytime soon. Now, let's talk about the MediaTek Dimensity 7050 CPU. It's pretty up-to-date, not your grandpa's processor. But here's where things get a little tricky. You see, Blue's software update track record isn't the best. Sure, the Bold N3 ships with Android 13, which is a good start, but sadly Blue hasn't made any promises for future updates. And let's not forget about the incident in 2017, when a Blue Android update left users locked out of their own phones. Plus there are complaints about bloatware and potential hardware issues too. So here's the bottom line. As tempting as this phone may seem, it might be wise to spend your hard-earned $300 elsewhere. The Galaxy Z Fold 5. Released in August 2023, this phone came with a price tag of $1,499 for the 256GB storage option. And sadly, it didn't quite hit the mark for many people. The changes just didn't seem substantial enough to justify that big jump in cost. The battery life lasted around 11 hours, which is a slight improvement over the Fold 4. And when it comes to charging, you're looking at about 80 minutes. Not too shabby, but it's not dust resistant. So you might want to be careful with this one. The Fold 5 does have some cool features like a 50-megapixel camera, IPX8 durability, which means it's water resistant, an AMOLED screen with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip. But all those features come at a cost, and that cost is a high price tag when compared to the more affordable Fold 4. So if you're craving a flashy foldable phone, the Fold 4 is still a better option. OnePlus Nord N20 SE. This phone brings both positives and negatives to the table. On the plus side, it's got stereo sound, a 50-megapixel main camera, and even 33 watts of fast charging, which is a rarity in this category. But the N20 SE's feeble processor and lens compromises result in disappointing photos, and it's got an HD+ resolution, which is not even AMOLED. And to top it all off, it refreshes at just 60 Hz. Now battery-wise, you've got a 5000 mAh battery with 33 watts of charging, which is on par with what other brands are offering. And with a low-powered processor and an HD+ screen, you can expect some pretty decent battery life from this phone. However, it's rocking a dated MediaTek Helio G35 chipset, And priced at $150, you might find yourself questioning its value compared to its competitors. iPhone SE 3rd Gen. Priced at $260 for the 64GB version, it's not too heavy on the wallet, but let's take a closer look and see if it's worth your money. It's got the fancy A15 Bionic chip under the hood, which is the same one you'll find in the latest iPhones. However, when we compare it to the iPhone 13 mini or iPhone 12, we start to see some cracks in its value. Moreover, the iPhone SE 3rd Gen only has a single 12-megapixel camera, and it misses out on optical zoom and night mode. Meanwhile, its siblings, the iPhone 13 mini and iPhone 12, strut their stuff with dual camera setups. And no Face ID. Instead, it relies on the old Touch ID. Sure, it's convenient for some, but it's just not as secure and versatile as its Face ID counterparts. It's a 4.7-inch Retina HD screen, but it lacks 1080p resolution, HDR, and peak brightness. And don't even get us started on MagSafe. Sadly, it's a no-show on the iPhone SE 3rd Gen. So if you were dreaming of snapping on those cool MagSafe accessories, you'll have to stick with the QI wireless charging. And lastly, unfortunately, the iPhone SE struggles in the battery life department too. Samsung Galaxy A03 Core. Priced at just $95, it's definitely easy on the wallet. But let's be honest here, this phone doesn't exactly come with the latest and best features. We're talking about a dim screen, a weak processor, and lackluster cameras. And it even boasts a dated micro USB connector. The Samsung Galaxy A03 Core does have a respectable battery life, so you won't be left scrambling for a charger too often. But if you're looking to do anything beyond the basics, like checking the time or making calls, this phone might not cut it. It's built for the least demanding users out there. Even something as simple as using WhatsApp can be a struggle with its weak processor, limited RAM, and tiny storage space. Trust us, nothing's more frustrating than a slow and unresponsive phone. So unless you have really minimal needs, we'd suggest giving the Galaxy A03 Core a pass. Wyco T3. Wyco T3 offers a little bit of everything, but not without some setbacks. Launched in December 2021 for $110, it's got 128GB of storage and 4GB of RAM, which is pretty good. Plus, the 48-megapixel camera is ready to capture some stunning shots. But the T3 is powered by the not-so-latest MediaTek Helio P35 chip, which means it might not be the fastest phone out there. And it's only HD, not the sharpest you can find. Oh, and charging? Well, it's slow at 10 watts. This budget phone also doesn't have NFC, which means no fancy contactless payments for you. Sure, the T3 has commendable features like memory and camera, but when you consider its shortcomings, they kinda bring it down. ZTE Blade A72. This phone seems to have a lot going for it. At first glance, priced at $124, it's definitely wallet-friendly. And it's got a 90Hz Full HD display, 3GB of RAM, 64GB of storage, and a massive 6000 mAh battery. But it's powered by the Unisoc SC9863A processor, which is not the snappiest chip around. In fact, it struggles with even the simplest of tasks. This processor's performance woes are shared with the Galaxy A03 Core, and let's just say both phones don't quite deliver the smooth and responsive usage you might be hoping for. While the Blade A72 has some nice specs, its processor holds it back from reaching its full potential. Oppo A55. This phone hit the market on October 1st, 2021 with a price tag of $249. It's got a lot in common with the Nord N20 SE, but the A55 brings some extras to the table. Now, one thing that stands out is its NFC functionality. That means you can go all fancy and make contactless payments with this phone. And it also sports a snazzy 16-megapixel front camera. Say cheese! But the A55 misses out on stereo sound, so you won't be getting that immersive audio experience. And charging? Well, it doesn't support lightning-fast 33-watt charging like some other phones. Now, if you're all about the camera and you're on a budget, the A55 might just be the right choice for you. But keep in mind there's no stereo sound, and the charging speed is a bit on the slower side. That wraps up our exploration of these smartphones. If you found this information valuable, please like and subscribe to stay updated. Until next time, take care and stay connected.